I hadn't slept in over 24 hours. My dad was lying in a hospital bed, and all I needed was a few hours of silence, just a little peace. But instead, the music next door kept getting louder and louder, and that's when I decided if they were going to ruin my night, I was going to destroy their morning. If you've ever had neighbors who made your life miserable, you're going to feel this one. We had lived in that house for years, a quiet street, decent neighbors, the kind of place where you wake up to birds, not bass shaking your walls at 2 a.m. At least, that's how it used to be. Then, they moved in, a group of guys, early 20s, loud, careless, the kind of people who treat every day like it's Saturday night. First, I tried not to judge. Let them have their fun. That's what I told myself. But it didn't take long to realize this wasn't normal. They turned that house into a full-blown party spot. I still remember the first time they dragged a couch onto the roof. I actually stopped in my driveway, just staring. They were up there, drinking, laughing, shouting, like nothing mattered. And then, one of them walked to the edge. And yeah, let's just say, they didn't feel the need to go inside. That was the moment I knew this wasn't going to get better. We had young kids, and I didn't want them growing up thinking this was normal. So I made a choice. Just ignore them. Focus on us. We'll be fine. And for a while, it worked. Our house had decent soundproofing. I'm a heavy sleeper. I learned to tune it out. But the other neighbors, they weren't as patient. Complaints, arguments, police visits. At one point, someone even slashed their tires. Turned into a full-blown war. And honestly, I stayed out of it. I didn't want drama. I didn't want stress. I just wanted peace. Years passed. Not 1, not 2. 8 years. And you'd think by then, they would have grown up. But no. Now they were in their 30s. Same house. Same behavior. Same noise. If anything, felt worse. Because now, it wasn't immaturity anymore. It was a choice. Then came that night. The night everything changed. I had spent hours at the hospital, sitting next to my dad, listening to those machines, that slow, steady beeping, that kind of silence, that feels heavy. By the time I got home, I was exhausted, not just tired, drained. I lay down, closed my eyes, and then, boom, music, laughter, shouting, right next door. I stared at the ceiling. My jaw tightened. No, not tonight. I whispered, but it didn't stop. Every time I drifted off, another burst of noise, another reminder that they didn't care. I turned my pillow, covered my ears, tried everything. Nothing worked. And somewhere around 4 a.m., something inside me changed. It wasn't anger. Not exactly. It was something colder, quieter, more controlled. I didn't go over there. I didn't call the police. I didn't argue. I made a plan. Sunday morning came, bright, peaceful, and ironically, silent, because now, they were asleep, hungover, completely out. And that's when I smiled. I went into storage, pulled out our biggest speaker, carried it outside, set it right next to the fence, took a deep breath, and pressed play. ABBA, loud, way too loud. Then Barry Manilow, even louder. I could feel the bass through the ground. I glanced over. No movement. Perfect. Then I grabbed my chainsaw. There was this one branch that needed cutting. Just one. And I decided that branch was going to take a very long time. I started cutting. Slowly. Pause. Adjust. Cut again. Same branch. Over and over. For almost an hour. By now, the music was still blasting. ABBA had turned into AC/DC. Heavy drums, sharp guitar, the kind of sound that drills into your head when you're hungover. And just when I thought, couldn't get better, my husband stepped outside. He looked at me, looked at everything, and smiled. "You mind if I join?" I just nodded. A few minutes later, he brought out the grinder, set it right by the fence, and then, screech, that high-pitched sound. Sharp, unbearable. The kind that doesn't just wake you up, punishes you. And that's when it happened. The door next door slammed open. One guy stumbled out, hair a mess, eyes barely open. Then another, and another. They stood there, confused, completely broken, trying to figure out what was happening. I kept cutting. My husband kept grinding. The music kept blasting. One of them pointed at us. Another held his head. One tried to yell something, but his voice was completely drowned out. For the first time in years, they weren't in control. They weren't the loud ones anymore. They were the ones suffering. And honestly, I didn't feel bad, not even a little, because this was earned. After a couple of hours, they gave up, went back inside. Doors slammed, curtains shut, silence. Finally, I turned off the chainsaw. My husband shut down the grinder. The music faded out. And just like that, peace returned. Real peace. The kind I had been asking for years. I stood there, took a deep breath, and for the first time in a long time, I felt relief. Sometimes, people don't understand respect until they feel the consequences. I never wanted a fight. I just wanted peace. And that morning, they finally got the message. If the story hit you, drop a comment. What would you have done? And don't forget to subscribe, because some stories just hit different. Fire.